and welcome back to why can't I never get their name right? Alright, in my head. Alright, but it's basically Hearts of Iron 4. I'm the Just King, if you guys didn't know, and I'm gonna be showing you basically how to start off, because I just did a video on how to begin, well, like how to begin Japan and what you should be focusing on, but I didn't really show you what I do for the beginning of the war. So you're gonna first of all want to get all of your troops onto the mainland by doing this, by just, you have to send them all to this. And it sucks because the only way to transport some troops is through from land to sea, is by using these ports. You can build more of these ports, but it's just a pain in my opinion. And you also want to get all your all of these guys. These are airplanes. You want to find this kind of symbol. One second. This kind of symbol, and then it assign all and do select all, and then you want to send them to this airport, and they'll all be transferred over. They should be transferred over. Hang on, I need to speed up. Are they transferred yet? You're not sure. Are you guys not going? Why aren't you going? Yeah. Are you not rebasing? What the heck? Alright, I think... Why isn't this working? Alright. Yeah, they should be going now. Okay, now I think they're there. Alright, so now once that happens, you're gonna go ahead and send them all here. You need all of your airplanes to go here. If you can get them to go there. Except these guys don't seem to be listening to me. Oh, there we go. Now they're starting to transfer. It's just some are slower than others. And now that all of them are there, you're gonna have 500 planes, 500 and so planes, which is a good. That's actually a good number. And then you also want to assign all of your these things with a leader. It doesn't matter what leader, to be honest, because leaders are really easy to come by. And then you want them all to patrol these 3 areas. Well, not all of them. You just want one to patrol each. So like, I'd say like patrol that, that, and that. So that way it's easier to keep control over this area when war does inevitably come. Then since this one has actually airplanes on it, like this, you can you want to go ahead and select all these. It'll follow the same kind of path that you're following, and then you want to go ahead and, oh yeah, I forgot to do that for the other one, but oh well, whatever. Oh, that guy's level 5, damn, that's a good one. And level 5 is the best, I think. I'm not sure, pretty sure it is though. And you want them to just go here, because this is where China is gonna basically attack you, and you want to have supremacy over them. And that's kind of hard to do when they have like a lot more troops. And Russia doesn't tend to declare war on you for the most part, unless you declare war on these guys. You want to usually leave these guys out of the fight until later, but otherwise you want to go ahead and focus on up here. Yeah, and basically take these both, and then you can declare war on China, because it's really hard to attack these. I mean, you can, but it's difficult. I mean, you can try, but, and then you can focus on getting France too. France will die soon in the world, and when the war starts, luckily, and that makes it kind of easy. So you want to group all these guys up into one thing. Not on here though, because on there will make your guys feel attrition, and that will be draining to your supplies, and I think your supplies, or just your manpower. I can't remember which one. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. And basically you want all of these guys to be up here, just to guard up here, so Russia doesn't get any bright ideas of, oh, we can go attack them. Yeah, but the AI can do that sometimes. They can sometimes see your weakness. How's this coming along? Alright, good. This, and then, yeah, you basically want to send all these guys up here, and you'll probably make your own troops. And you also probably want to fuse this with another, or you can just give it its own path, you know, like patrolling. Like that's what I do with these smaller ships. I give them captains and then I tell them to patrol these kind of areas because it's just better that way. And then we got these all, and we're gonna send them all here because that will help us in the long run. And then this is where we produce our ships, and we need to wait for them to actually finish. How's research coming along? Okay, so research is taking a while. Doesn't usually take this long, but that's because maybe I'm more concentrated. That's probably why. And I don't think they're not suffering from attrition right now, so that's good. You always want to stay on this side of the lake because, well, you want your fallback point to be on the other side of the point. If they do end up pushing you back, you always want to have a lake like this. This is a perfect example. But the problem is, this is your one blind spot that you have, because they're gonna have to cross this no matter what, except if they go here. And the problem is they also have this kind of lake, so we would have trouble getting past that because it's not very easy to get past. Is this guy still coming? Can't tell. Oh yeah, he is. Alright, so these guys are going to be all in one company, and so are these guys. I'm going to send this guy up here to join these guys. And you can later reassign. These guys are just like reserves, I guess you could say. And they're used for after you declared war on this guy. Just to make sure. Because once this guy falls, you're kind of screwed if you're facing China, because they will then basically take over all this, because it just turned from this being open to this being open, and that is never a good thing. Trust me, I had that happen several times to me, and it wasn't fun. Basically, I had to restart, and yeah, so next you want to go ahead and assign a leader. Since this is, you want to keep this guy. He's he's the best general the Japanese have. And this is true, actually this is for any gameplay pretty much. You always want to focus on different people. For Germany, I'm pretty sure Germany has their own stuff. And for other nations, you obviously want to build up things, but this is how I play. Crap, it's too much. I'm gonna have to split this in half. That's the only problem, is sometimes you have to split them in half. And what I'll do is station half here, right here, like right here, because that's a good spot for defense. I mean, I have 30 units there. That's a huge amount. That's a huge amount of infrastructure that thing's pulling up. And unfortunately, that means that it's going to be harder to defend. And how much is this? 20. So you can put your best general here. And then you by left clicking this, all your units will disperse and they will all start to defend. And I think they're going to start building trenches and stuff. So that way the Russians won't do anything. And this is just how I play it. But that's part of the game. And so now you're gonna go ahead and, since this is too much, you're gonna want to go ahead and divide it. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, see. And this is more so if you're going. Ah, crap. I'm not gonna be able to do it since I have to create a new division. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. God dang it. So, since they're going to be starving anyway, and you can't do much about that, you want to put them all in exercise. Both things, because you need to start generating this. Once you start generating a lot of this, you're able to personally equip, or personally whatever. What's it called? No, I don't want. Yeah, alright, so you're able to personally change the divisions and what they look like. So for instance, I'm able to change it right now, and so I'm gonna wait. Is my tank done? No, my tank's done. Oh well, I can change it. So you're gonna want to go ahead and edit, and then you see this is the panel. I know it looks a little bit confusing and overwhelming, but it's pretty simple. So these don't really mean anything, they're just for you, and this is just for you too. So what's really important is these things, which basically give you defense and breakthrough and attack, which is actually a breakthrough is a basically attack, and this is your basically your attack pattern. So what I do is I go into armed infantry and I build like tanks. And since that's all I have, and as you can see, this is going to spend 5 of my training points, so I need much more. Also, another thing I do is I like to make the history a little bit funny, so I go ahead and do this, so that way in 4 years, when the war does start and they're not in the war yet, they'll become a fascist nation and then they'll join the Axis. That way, you won't have to worry about the United States going and attacking you, and it's just a huge load off. That is, if you get lucky enough to have them. You also can get Mexico. Mexico's a little bit easier since they're like not they're not part of affiliated yet. As you can see, they're non-affiliated, so either side can really have them on board. And once you have that, and then the first thing you want to do for this, you want to have this, because it allows you to have more political power and allows you to influence more countries, and in turn allows you to get even more country over to the fascists, which is like required. Oh, why is this guy? Oh wait. Yeah, that's just him. Okay, good. So these guys are going to be more so of our reserves, because I don't have anything else to do with them right now. Let's see what they're doing. So this is how much supplies we have right now, and this is what I was talking about with in the previous episode with where is it? With lack of supplies. See, like right here. Oh, should actually give that there. So now we're starting to build artillery machines. But the problem is this is only developing 1 a day, and we need 300, and that's not easy to do. We need 7,000 of these. Luckily, we're making 66. So this is why I focus on industrial research for the most part, because it allows for any nation really to start producing more and more, and allows you to make war a lot easier, because you're able to equip more troops and essentially put more out. Just it'll put more damage out, more, yeah, and it's easier to attack other nations and stuff. Huh, Poland is whatever, not either. I'm surprised. I know France is almost communist. Well, it turns communist later, but it's not yet. And yeah, I've tried to get these guys, but they're never really worth it, because they always start an alliance. The only problem is these guys are super huge. They're dumb in there. They're too overpowered. I also tried to get Portugal, but the problem is you need a country with elections. But what? Portugal didn't have elections when I played. Okay, this is strange. Portugal didn't have elections. But right now I guess they got elections, so I don't know what that's all about. Oh, we got some army innovation. So now I will have even more stuff to do. So now that that's done, you could go for this, but that's not needed until you do get Axis lean or form your own faction. And so now you're gonna want to do this. You can do naval. Naval is also important, but not as important as the extra research button. So you're gonna do this because it's gonna boost up your factory output by a lot. It's just gonna eradicate all your problems, really. The further you go, the better. It's like the Industrial Revolution. Stalin's constitution. Oh, it's Stalin. Yeah, see, look at. And the benefit of this is you're gonna win against Russia. Russia's not as equipped as you, and they don't have as good stuff, because I don't remember exactly what they have, but it seems like I usually win against them whenever I do 1v1 against their troops. So I'm pretty sure it's because I have more concentrated troops, or more disciplined. I don't know. It's one of the two. And see, this was talking about destroyers and submarines, and I think that's, yeah, that should be good. We're gonna wait until the rest of those finish, because that will allow us with more. And these are just reserves. That's what that means, obviously. And now it's just waiting time, pretty much. I mean, you could assign them to here, because that's where you. Oh no, that's not right. And next time I'll actually show you war. This is just setup war, because for this, basically, setting up war is you need to first of all create a front line like I did right there, and then what you need to do, well, you can extend the front line if you want, like this. Oh, wait, see, like that, but I don't do that because it spreads out your troops and then it makes a negative bonus. And then you basically, what I do is I do that kind of thing, so that way I get some stuff, and then it's gonna be harder for them to take since I have that. And then after that, I usually basically I make it in waves, kind of like this. So not a lot of people know that you're able to do this, but it's really helpful to do that, since you can't. Since if you don't do that, it's gonna be super hard to not to whatever, you know. See, and basically it's got a chain of events. All you need to do is click and drag. This is something the tutorial didn't tell me, and I wish they had. And the other thing that they forgot to tell us is that you can draw fallback lines, which is basically, how do you do this again? I had this working before, and it's basically, never mind. I'll show you guys when that war actually comes. But basically, my goal would be to completely take this area, because then once I take that area, but the problem is I still need to focus on these two. What you could do is you could potentially make these both your vassals, which means you wouldn't have to worry about them, and then just grant them independence later and take them over, which is a sound strategy, but it's just more hassle. I would do it personally because it's actually a good strategy. Also, you always want to have these things are awesome because it gives you better infantry, cavalry defense. It just gives you better pretty much everything. It's awesome. You always want to make sure you support those in the correct year and get those, otherwise you're not gonna have an easy game ahead of you, which kind of sucks. And oh yeah, I forgot these. How did I forget you? How did I forget you? Oh, there we go. All of you are assigned now. And you're just gonna send him on the same kind of thing. Because America's Navy is uncool. It's super uncool. I would keep these guys here personally, because they're good for defending that island, and that island will be attacked, trust me, by especially Great Britain and Raja, or whatever their name is, British Rajah, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, that's basically what. Also, this is basically how you trade. It's how much you can trade at one time, because there's only a limit to how much you could export and import. Right now, I'm pretty much, you can change that on what you're on, like how much you're exporting and importing on, I think it's this screen. Yeah, this screen. So basically this right here is limited exports, so it shows you basically how much your factory outputs and all that stuff. I mean, you're able to do this too, but I would say free trade is a good one, but it's debatable. I don't know why you're able to do that. Well, it costs more anyway. That's the problem. And the other problem is that you also have to focus on this. So you really have to balance out which of the two. So I would say that you you're gonna want limited conscription because it doesn't really hurt you right now, and volunteers only isn't a really good setup because it's not very good. It's not very good. I'm gonna say it's not very good because it limits the amount of people you're able to have, and disarm populace is even worse. Like, it's pretty bad. Or disarm that, and basically, if things get really bad, this is what you're going to go to. Okay, that's pretty much all I'm saying. Scrape and barrel is the worst because it's gonna utterly devastate your nation, worse than probably the bombs did. Because that means you're like you killed off an entire generation, and that's just ridiculous. I'm just waiting at this point because I just need. There we go. Spiritual mobilization. That will give us. Take a look. It doubled the amounts. So as I stated, you're gonna do this, and that's still coming along. Okay, good. And I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna actually want to switch them over to here to defend, because you're gonna want one to defend and one to attack, which is probably the best situation you can be in. The reason I have these is because these guys got tanks, even though they're having attrition, but that's fine. Ooh, Spanish Civil War. Now my hope is that the nationalists win that war because it's better that way. That's the weirdest place to have a capital, seriously. Like, who would do that? Like, you just like cut it in half pretty much. It's quite the Civil War. And that's basically what happens there, and they're still waiting on the elections. Ireland is also another nation that is always going to join the Allies, unfortunately. And I think these guys are going to join the... Yeah, almost all these guys are going to join the... Except for Finland. Finland might join us, but that's debatable. You could also probably get Poland, but that would be a little bit weird because then Russia would attack it, and then you'd be like, you know, why are you attacking our ally? And then I'd be like, yeah, and we're just going to do that. We're going to get to free trade. And that allows us to do much more. And that was just the Olympics talking about it. Yes. I need more. A lot more. See, I was talking about steel. Steel right there. See, I need legitimately a lot of steel. Dang, that's a lot. This is why you need a lot more, civilian factories, because it's ridiculous the amount that you need sometimes. But this allows you to have so much more. Alright, good. That's correct. What am I still lacking in? I'm lacking in oil. See, that's what I was talking about. And I'll trade with the Soviet Union. There we go. There we go. See, look at now I'm trading with the Soviet Union. So they're not going to attack me because I am trading with them. Which is nice. Unfortunately, that means some of our stuff. What am I still lacking in? Oh, steel? How am I lacking in steel? Fine. France. Hey, yo, France, you want... See, this is what I was talking about. So I guess free trade is pretty bad. Don't go with free trade, guys. It's bad. It's pretty bad. Alright, so I think I'm going to end this episode here. Please let me know if you want to see more of this, and I will make more. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and have a great day, and adios. Have an excellent day. I don't know. Bye.